Chair and dear online participants. Today, I'm honored to share some experience of Taiwan. I'm Wei Sen Li, Director General of National Science and Technology Center for Disaster Reduction. My topic today especially emphasizes how we mitigate kind of impact by disaster through innovative and smart approach. As you know, Taiwan is facing a lot of challenge from natural disaster. Among the all, I think typhoon and earthquake are two devastating disasters to Taiwan. Today, I will use one example to emphasize how we used innovative and smart way to mitigate impact when we have the typhoon. As you know, there are so many things related to resilience, but an international insurance company, Maplecroft, published a report in year 2013, identify if considered about socio-economic resilience, Taiwan is at the leading position around the world. You see here, I think both Taiwan and Korea, Japan are listed at low risk. I will summarize the major factor that leading to low risk and high resilience in Taiwan. I think first of all, application of science and technology, like my office. Another one, we keep risk transparent. So this is the major topic I'm going to share with you today. First, I will give a little background information about my office, National Science and Technology Center for Disaster Reduction. My office is directly under supervision of Ministry of Science and Technology, Taiwan, and my office is an interface to apply science and technology for disaster risk management. So at my office, we include different background of discipline related to disaster, no matter from the natural sciences all the way to business management. And our major mission is to provide a lot of services like science and technology transfer, science and technology innovation, database and knowledge base, and international collaboration. And we have a lot of products. Even during emergency operation, we still have roles working at our Central Emergency Operating Center. But our job is not about search and rescue. And also have some international partner. Likewise, in Korea, we have a good partner is in the MI. And I would like to mention about one triggering point in Taiwan, why my office played an important role in disaster management in Taiwan. I think it was the Typhoon Morocco hit Taiwan in 2009. The single typhoon bring up to 700 people die, especially in the Xiaolin township in Kaohsiung City. 400 people were buried alive after a huge landslide. That kind of big pressure in Taiwan, we have to improve our disaster risk management system. After reviewing kind of the setback by Typhoon Morocco, we summarize some major points we have to improve in information part. First, too much or too little information at emergency operation. In 2009, we already have a lot of information system, but the problem is we don't have the system to integrate information. So my office received a job assigned by our government to collaborate with a lot of partners, especially from the public sector, to build a system to integrate information, because we also find we lack common operational picture to coordinate action. So we need kind of the good situation map to coordinate all the key stakeholders during emergency operation. Another one is how we support decision-making process. Later, I will use one example to show how my office uses information intelligence to support emergency operation. And the most important part today, I'm focused on information intelligence. We call it a very important part. Through the cross-cutting synergy, information sharing and action. Currently, my office, we collect more than 450 big data sets contributed by 40 more agencies, including public and private sectors. most important thing, why we collect a lot of information? Because we want to produce information intelligence to reduce possible impact. So very important thing, we not just collect data, we not just create database, we not just bring information, but very important thing, we hope our services can create some action and application. Later, I will tell how my office used the modern ICT technology share information to the or stakeholder in our society, especially one product I think also very popular in Korea is Line. How we use the different channel to enhance information coverage in Taiwan. And before I go in further detail, I have explained about disaster management framework in Taiwan, especially as central government. As I mentioned, my office directly under the most Ministry of Science and Technology. During ordinary day, if no disaster, NCDR plays a role as the think tank to our government, like what is good policy for disaster risk reduction. What we can find some the insufficiency part in Taiwan about disaster risk reduction. But in case of emergency like earthquake, like flood, like typhoon, NCDR will join with other government agency at Central Emergency Operations Center to respond to the situations. So in the CEOC, Central Emergency Operations Center, NCDR is take the lead of one group in the EOC. The name of group is Situation Assessment Group. In this group, actually NCDR will collaborate with a lot of government agencies like Water Resource Agency, provide a lot of the hydro information. National Fire Agency tell us a lot of situation, especially some medical demands. And Highway Bureau, of course, provide a lot of information about road closure or any impact to the highway system. And Soil and Water Conservation Bureau provide parameter related to debris flow. And Central Weather Bureau provide us a lot of parameter related to typhoon. And when we reach some conclusion, we will have Office of Disaster Management under the cabinet level to disseminate information to the local government, even to the general public. So in Taiwan, integration is very important part. My office actually integrate with a lot of government agencies in case of emergency. We will work at the EOC. Actually, my office is in the same building. We will have the situation assessment group meeting and the big meeting to share our finding. And the most important thing, we have to provide a lot of information related to emergency, like how science can help the emergency operation. I will divide into the 4 major impacts during a typhoon. From the wind parts, wind damage, storm surge. For a torrential rain, could be flood or landslide. We have to answer some questions that can help emergency responders about when, where, scale, and scope impact. By information we pass to emergency response, they can do some pre-disaster deployment, like the Army can help evacuation, or like the Water Resource Agency can deploy some equipment. Even the Highway Bureau can do some road closure to reduce possible damage or the casualties. I will use one example to tell my office duty during the typhoon. This is the example of last year during the typhoon Changshu. And my office will use kind of big picture to identify possible impact by typhoon. And most important thing, we use a lot of the big data and the real-time data to show commander about current situation. Like this one, you can see we can collect several real-time rain gauge combined with the radar image and satellite image, and also show rain distribution. It's kind of current situation. And most important thing is we will give information into different phases. Like usually we are talking about at approaching phase, impact phasing, and departing phase. At each phase, very clear, we must give kind of scenario, time-dependent factor, and the possible impact. Like this one, we highlight at approaching phase about its impact by rain, and we estimate about how much rain it have, and also estimate its risk. Likewise for the impacting period and the departing phase. And except by rain, we also estimate about impact by strong wind. This picture also shows the strong winds impact during a different phase, as I mentioned, 3 different phases. And we also tell about the possible impact by high tide. And this is our model based on the movement of typhoon. We can highlight about when and where could suffer the high tide or storm surge by the typhoon. And very important, I mentioned my office integrate a lot of information, especially a CCTV camera. This is also very important. We can observe the real time of tide movement like this one. This is highway, this near a train station. So combine a different source of image, we can convince the commanding officer in the EOC what kind of action or response they should make or take. And also about the risks of flood. From the chart, you can see we also emphasize 3 different phases. By each phase about is the risk of flood and where could be the hotspot of the flood. Another very important thing, because the 70% of Taiwan is in the slopland area. So in the mountainous highway, usually our focus during the emerging response when we have typhoon, because road interruption might lead to isolation to some the community in the mountainous area. So based on our past experience and some model, we also highlight the possible area to suffer kind of landslide or kind of road interruption during the period of typhoon attack. And we also have to highlight like this one because a few days ago, there also an earthquake hit the east part of Taiwan. So we have to often remind the people about because of earthquake, it might further trigger some landslide. And another very important thing, we create kind of network, we call it N-to-1 and 1-to-N. We collect a different kind of information, we call it kind of end-to-end connection. Based on the citizen, based on decision maker, we can deliver their demands information intelligence so that they can take action. We can fill the information gap. And this is very important. We create kind of the web page system, not just for the emergency responder and also for the general public, they can receive information. But in Taiwan, how we achieve information sharing, I think after Typhoon Morocco, the first step we have taken is the policy of open data. So we create a platform. We introduce the common alerting protocol to standardize all the disaster data, especially information for exchange, kind of the common and the national standard. Then we collaborate with Google. We share information on the Google platform, a kind of win-win situation. And since we launched the service in 2013, every year over 50 million people received direct benefit from the Google system, but we never set up a system like this. So later we use the CBS. We also use CBS to send information on user cell phone, including kind of the roads closure. So this is how we use the smart and modern technology to increase information dissemination to the end user. And line, because most of us right now we use a cell phone. We think line is the good channel we can disseminate alert to everyone in our society, especially location-based. So we start kind of collaboration with line in 2018. In the 4 years, 1.2 million users more to subscribe our service. Wherever we have any situation, we can push information to user cell phone. So very important thing in Taiwan, we emphasize several elements for building resilience is the data, information, knowledge, wisdom, and action. The fundamental part is still science and technology. We know the limit of science because no perfect model. However, through the real-time data, we implement the step to have the data and information. But very important thing, based on our scenario, risk and evaluation in recent years, we create a lot of knowledge and wisdom. But very important thing, because we work with emergency responder, so we can help decision making and application. So that is very important thing. In Taiwan, we fully follow the idea about from data, information, knowledge, wisdom, and action. And the key reason and element led to succeed, we integrate all kinds of sciences and technology. And we also evaluate the new emerging technology can help us. So thank you for your listening. And if any question, please ask later or send me an email. Thank you very much.